So, spoiler-free thoughts on the Suicide Squad 2021. I'm gonna go Aaron first. Aaron, what are you thinking?
Having seen probably all the Suicide Squad movies, and I thinking back now, I can't even believe that I'm saying that. But
That's why I laughed. I was like, "Fuck, we really." I'm like, "We really have seen all of them." That's fucking stupid as shit.
Yeah, which I mean, yeah. Again, there's so many great movies that I haven't seen, like so,
Like Citizen Kane,
and that I have seen.
So many
watched
things
Citizen
you could
Kane
have
all
done
together.
we
to
all
better
did
yourself.
Except Marty. But no. So I definitely this was my favorite of the three. This was better than the scene where Harley orders an egg sandwich in the second movie that I've talked about previously on the podcast.
Yeah, I know you were a big fan of that egg sandwich.
Yeah, dude, it looked delicious. I'm telling you, watch that scene on YouTube and tell me that that's egg sandwich.
I bet you, I will make you a better egg sandwich.
Wes, you got to watch the scene, pal. That's all I have to say.
Send it to me. I promise you, I'll make you any better.
I don't dispute that you couldn't make a great egg sandwich, but I'm just saying there's whatever. Just
I'm gonna make one day. I'm gonna
right.
invite you over for an odd breakfast, and I'm gonna make you delicious.
You just let me know, and I'll call out of work.
That's not funny.
That was a reference to you.
I know, and I was being serious.
I'm cosplaying as you.
No, I forgot. That's why you're
so
saying a bunch of crazy ass shit. Okay.
I definitely I like this one the best of the three. I felt like the pacing was actually really good. Like there was pretty consistent action, and even in like the lulls, there were like reasons behind kind of why they were in like whatever set piece it was that kind of slowed things down. But there was a lot of shit happening. Like I think I told at least Brian. I watched the movie in two halves, basically. I watched the first half on Saturday and then ended up watching the second half when we got back from your place Saturday night.
This isn't a bad movie to do that because of all those cuts. It's like they're chapters.
So we cut. We stopped right when they were at the bar, kind of like not celebrating, but trying to get with the thinker or whatever his name was. With all the shit in his head, he had all the fuses sticking out of his skull.
Pinhead.
He was always sitting like this on it with his head on his chin.
Naked.
I just like this. This isn't really a spoiler, but I just liked that when
Spoilers
they showed him younger,
for ancient Roman art.
Exactly.
When they showed him younger, he had less things in his head, and that was my favorite part. As the years went on, he kept just jamming. I was like, he was a guy to get like 5 things, and like now he has a bunch. I just thought that was fucking hysterical. I died. Me and Steph just watched it. And she was like, "What are you laughing at?" And I was like,
"He's got like 4 of them."
I'm like, he got older and had to just keep jamming more things into his head.
He's got to open up some more holes for funny.
I was like, "No, this is great." That was my favorite part of the film.
Wes, do you want to? Oh, Aaron's not done. Sorry.
All right, yeah, I'm just going to throw it on for the rest of the podcast.
No.
It's okay with everyone.
Yeah, give it another hour, bro.
Yeah. So genuinely, I thought the pacing was good. I thought it being broken up in chapters was gonna like grate on me a little bit, but I actually, the more it went on, I appreciated their like dopey transitions and stuff. Like that again, like if it had been done poorly, I would have been like, oh fucking okay, we get it. This is broken up into chapters. But like like I said, I thought it would be grating and like kind of annoying, and it ended up definitely like I appreciated it by the end. But yeah, overall good. I'll give it a score out of 100 at the end of our conversation.
Whoa.
Like you're gonna score it as 100 or out of 100?
No, out of 100.
Oh, like I said, I'm gonna give it a score of 100. I was like, wow,
I think it
was like the perfect film. The perfect.
There's no greater film than Suicide Squad 2021.
I was like, fuck, dude, for real? And I'm going to score this one 100. I'm like, Jesus.
Sorry, Wes, I know you've been waiting patiently. So, Marty, what are your thoughts?
Marty, your spoiler-free thoughts.
Yeah, let Marty go. Mine's going to be long and plodding. Definitely have Marty
go.
I thought the Suicide Squad 2 was better in the first 15 minutes than the first one. But other than that, I thought character development was better than the last one. Overall, it was really big Guardians of the Galaxy 1 vibes, which was pretty sweet. Ending battle,
I agree.
That's my thought. But great movie, but ending battle, could have been better.
This huge guy's carrying the real contestant, Patrick Starr.
Spoilers.
It's spoiler free, Wes. Spoiler free.
Sorry.
That's a strangely appropriate reference.
Yeah,
That was
did
good.
you like that? I was
gonna make-
this.
I was gonna
I
try and
spent all
make some
day-
sort of like Operation Bidet joke because that's starfish related or something, but I couldn't. I couldn't work it out. So I
Do
appreciate.
you think starfish is another name for butthole? Do you think it's related?
Butthole.
Do you think it's related?
Yes.
No.
Exactly. Yeah, I was trying to. Yeah. I was trying to get there, but I couldn't think of it. All right, pal. Yeah, go ahead.
Fuck, man. Okay, so
All right, get out your notebook.
so we turn it on, and I want to.
Wes is doing the whole
Start
plot.
starting from the beginning. Oh, God.
No, it's gonna be a couple of things, right?
All right, Brian, press
So-
record.
June 30th, 1993.
So, here I am, fresh out of the
I was
womb.
born.
I'm confused as fuck. So I'm hungry. So we go out, and I literally get an entire rotisserie chicken that I'm eating by hand, like legit carcass boring the shit because Steph wanted the plate. So I'm eating chicken literally with my hands.
I
right
only
out
have
of the-
one fork.
The best way to
So-
enjoy Suicide Squad 2021.
So the first couple of scenes are incredibly gory, and I was like, this is rough to eat chicken too. So I'm eating the chicken. I'm like, I'm not feeling so great. So it starts, and in the first
The
half hour,
credit
I'm like,
shot, just looking at all the dead bodies.
yeah, I was like, this is,
Just
I'm like,
going
I
from
am,
body to body.
I'm like, I am not doing well with this chicken fresh out of its chicken container. Going through the film, I was sadly pleasantly surprised.
You wanted to hate it.
I had the whole thing where I was going to be very mad, and I was like, all you did was just throw Idris Elba into it and hope it worked, and somehow it did. It did. You put him and John Cena in it, and I was like, okay, and it had the cutesy element. Steph loved a bunch. She loved the shark guy. She thought he was adorable. She loved the rats.
My stuff
I was
like the shark guy and the
I
rats
was like,
as well.
dude, I was like, Steph's all about it. I'm watching the film, like, this is great. You know who I loved? I
Shark
absolutely
guy.
loved the Weasel.
The
And
Weasel.
do you know, do you know why?
Weasel.
Do you
Because he
know
was a
why?
weasel. Because he
No.
I'll say I can't spoil it.
That's your favorite supervillain.
June 30th, 1993, I am born, and I
Weasel Isaac.
I get a
That's it. We've never revealed that that's your legal name.
I go by Wes,
Weasley
but I am a weasel.
I am Weasel. Oh, dude, cow and fucking chicken, bro.
Cow and chicken, baby.
Oh god, yeah, that's a throwback. Let's bring
Weasel.
back cow and chicken. Holy
June
shit!
30th, 1993. I get a stuffed animal that I still have now, and Steph said, "You like the Weasel because he looks like Mr. Ted."
Oh.
And he kind of does. And I was like, that's
He
why
does.
I love the
Oh
Weasel.
my god!
I was like,
So-
this dude has been 28 years just
Wes,
hanging out, and I had
You
to dig him
slide
up.
that
and I was-
over your face. Just slide it over. Yeah. Now, Brian, can you take
No,
a screen
tuck it
cap
in your
for the
shirt.
episode? This is gonna be the episode. Yeah.
Let me pop.
If you do that and tuck your head in it and then stick the head out, I
You
think
don't want to rip
Danny
the
Bryan's
Danny
gotta-
Ings jersey.
Yeah, I don't want to fuck up my Denny.
Yeah, that's Weasel.
yeah, you're basically
Oh my
And that-
God.
That's the Weasel. So she's like, you like the Weasel because fucking Mr. Ted's. And I pulled him out, and I was like, fuck. He looks like the Weasel. He just doesn't kill a bunch of
we
kids.
all know Wes still lives in his childhood room that he's grown up in.
Dude, my race car bed handles super well.
Yeah. Oh.
I'll give my thoughts. I had a lot of fun. I think Aaron brings up the gore. It was gorier than I expected.
Absolutely.
I guess my only known James Gunn experience is Guardians, which, you know, it's Disney, so there's not really
PG-13.
gore.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this shit got fucking crazy.
But, like,
and I'm
these
like trying to.
freaking aliens are the heckin' worst. Like,
Idris Elba and John Cena's chemistry is amazing. They handled
I
John
was like-
Cena well.
Dude, this was
Yeah.
the best John
Cena's
Cena's
a
acted in
decent
his
actor,
entire life.
honestly.
I think this was his best role.
I think he's
Oh, yeah,
best
I
when
would disagree with
he's very serious, but what he's saying is absolutely contradicting and hilarious.
No,
and-
he's
Oh,
more,
the
he's
Dan-
more dimensional than
Where,
just
where
like
he's talking
John
about how
Cena.
he would,
yeah,
He was talking about how he'd suck all the dicks on the beach to save world peace.
To say,
That was one of the best lines ever.
Yeah.
The whole thing
He's
of
like,
him being like, you know,
I don't care how many men, women, and children I have to kill to get peace. Yeah, like,
yeah, he's peacemaker, but peacemaker by any means necessary that's great.
That's pretty cool.
Honestly, that's like a great. I was like, fuck, they made him.
Just right
They made him. Well, they made him a real character where he's like, I'm gonna achieve peace by anything. If I gotta kill a bunch of people, as long as he's like means the means justify the end no matter what.
It's so stupid.
Or ends justify
awesome.
the means. Either way,
justify the means. It's okay.
Whatever it is. Is that Machiavelli? Whatever it is.
Machiavelli.
So the one thing too that I appreciated is like they did a good job, because some movies do this where they play up like the beginning of sort of like, oh, this is the Suicide Squad, like these are the characters that you're gonna be with like through the whole movie, and then immediately killing 80% of them.
Are we out of spoilers now? Is that?
Yeah, it's plot time. Aaron's got it.
I was gonna say that's literally that's all of 10 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, so like they bring in fucking Merle from Walking Dead, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna kind of follow his story, and I'm like
Just
Harley,
around.
they did a great job. Like they threw Harley Quinn in it, so you like get invested. Like they're not.
You think it's the real
her.
Suicide
So
Squad?
I'm like, okay, this is it.
Boomerang.
I was like, I didn't know
Moons,
Pete
like-
Davidson was in this.
yeah, dude. Steph loves Pete Davidson. She was like, is that Pete Davidson? And I'm like, yeah, he'll probably be in the entire film because he's hanging out with Harley Quinn. And he gets shot in the face immediately. I was like, yikes, I was wrong.
American girls love accents because we ain't got none.
Yeah.
Honestly,
there were some nice jokes like that.
The only part I didn't like is just because her lines are so ridiculous. I was just like, I'm not a big Harley Quinn guy. So like her being like, oh geez, Mister. I'm like, it doesn't do it for me. I watch a movie like that. I'm like,
Like,
I played it great. They put Idris Elba as the primary, and I was like, so you're just gonna throw Idris Elba into a film and hope it works out? It fucking did. They did a great. What are we going out of 100? I give it like a 92.
Whoa, say
I was very impressed.
Wow, that's an A- right there.
Wow.
Very high.
I do think I'm gonna buck the trend of not being a fan of Harley Quinn and say that her like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn is as close to like nailing Harley Quinn.
No.
Like,
She did a great job. I'm not saying. She did a great job as the actress playing the role. I just don't like Harley Quinn.
And I do see. I see where you're coming from. That like, especially if you find that kind of accent or like those lines, like
just the whole thing. Yeah,
like it's a little like too much. And I don't disagree, but like that is kind of Harley Quinn's character, is that like over the top, like.
Absolutely.
Kind of ditzy, but like secretly smart, and I mean, she fucked shit up like over the course of the movie.
The best part, honestly, even though I don't like her, the best part of the film for me was when she escaped from wherever the fuck she was and was just fucking just.
That was one of the better scenes.
I was like, damn. She got the fucking javelin. You're the only one that can use my javelin. Use it for
javelin.
And then he just dies, and she's like, "What do I use it for?" That was great.
So
that was great. But when she picks up the javelin and just goes through all those guards, I was like, "This is like the coolest scene in the entire film."
Real quick, while we're on that scene, then I want to go to Marty because he has been saving a thought for the past 3 minutes. Let's see if he remembers what it is. So when Harley Quinn's cuffed up and grabs the keys with her toes, that's actually Margot Robbie doing that stunt. She grabbed the key with her toes and unlocked the lock.
Yeah, so I heard that Quentin Tarantino actually guest directed that scene where he was like, "All right, Margot, we're gonna need you to do some serious toes gymnastics here."
I thought it was Dan Snyder from Drinking Down.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was Drake Bell.
I thought it was.
She's too old.
Rex Ryan?
Who was the? Yes, thank you, Rex Ryan.
She's too
Rex Ryan's like, we need to do the same scene again, but put Mark Sanchez up there.
Yeah.
He's ready.
Let's get Jared Leto in there.
All right, Marty, what do you got? Then we'll get really into the plot.
I agree with Wes. The Weasel made the movie. Like, come on, when they're on the plane,
that character is hilariously dumm.
Like, Pete Davidson's awesome. Like, what kind of dog is that?
Oh no, is that a werewolf?
Is that a werewolf?
jumps out of the sky, and they're like, nobody told me the Weasel couldn't swim.
Yeah, the fact that the Weasel just dies instantly is perfect. Like, that's just because that character is so ridiculous. To immediately kill him is awesome. Like, that was definitely, I appreciated that.
They did a great job because you got, like, the Weasel story arc was complete in the first 5 minutes. Like, he was not going to evolve. Like the Weasel wasn't going to, like, they had the King Shark, and he, like, has an entire story arc. The Weasel was just like, he's the Weasel, and he's like, I'm the Weasel. And the guy's like, yeah, he killed, like, 28 kids. And Steph looked at me like horrified. I was like, I don't know. Yeah, Steph was like,
very much glossed
Steph was like, I don't like the Weasel. I was like, I still do because it's not real.
he licks the window.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he goes running behind the Weasel like, he's like, fuck me.
Yeah, that intro scene was good. Of like, again, Pete Davidson like betraying them.
I like the guy with the arms that detach.
That's all he does.
Yeah, what the fuck is his name? That's
it's like
TDT.
The fucking the actor.
What's it stand for?
Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, it's Nathan Fillion. Thank you. Yeah.
I got you.
He's really good. I like Nathan Fillion a lot.
You know who else likes Nathan Fillion?
You?
One of the. Yeah.
I forgot what her name was. I was going to say it was just me because I forgot what her name is. That's where I was going with it.
I keep wanting to call her Susie Carmichael, but that's definitely Rugrats.
Susie too. I don't know why.
Susie Carmichael.
I think she's inspired.
She is definitely inspired by Susie Carmichael. That's like Susie Carmichael in the between years.
Yeah. Before like all grown up.
And all grown up, like right in the middle. Like kind of grown up, Susie Carmichael.
So,
the guy with arms was pretty hilarious.
Because you think he's gonna like start fucking people up.
He's just gonna like slapping him around.
Punches
and I like that he keeps shooting his arms, and him in the background, he has no arms. He's like, oh fuck, like he's in his arm. I'm like, yeah, no shit, dude. Yeah. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And I like that. It was so well done because they easily just get slaughtered. But the whole point is a distraction, so it's like you pick the worst like super villain
that
dude.
Edit
it was
nice.
Great.
Like I appreciated that. Like, all right, cut to like this is the real, quote unquote.
Yeah, like the real mission was on the other side of it, and then they're like, let's just throw in all the guys that just suck. And it's like, the guy comes up and his arms attached, he gets lit up, and I'm like, man, Suicide Squad sucks. And she's like, yeah, no, the whole thing was like a distraction. Like those dudes were gonna get fucking slaughtered out there. We need to make an excuse for the end. They're like, oh man. These guys have superpowers, and the guy's like, he gets fucking lit up. I'm the javelin, and he just gets fucking. It's like, I was like, oh, the javelin sucks. It was good, man. It was good. It was a good movie.
The one bit of that did like take me out of it for just a second, and it was honestly, it happened a couple times in the movie, but this part was like the most egregious. Was just like the plot armor for Harley. And what's his face, Rick Flag, like in this bit where like they're both like everyone else gets killed almost immediately, and Harley is like running through, and bullets are like whizzing by, like they're guys just with M16s or whatever shooting them from like 50 feet away, and she just like gets unscathed, and then they're both like sliding into the same rock to like hide together. I'm like, okay, like it has to happen because you're not gonna kill them in the first scene, but I was definitely like, they could have done that in a way that didn't make it like so clearly like they just couldn't be hit by a bullet.
Yeah. So I was double checking the name of Amanda Waller, the head of the Suicide Squad that gives all the orders, pushes the buttons, and I Googled Amanda Waller, and this showed up on Google Images.
Oh fuck! Are we going live? Yeah, we are. Yeah, we really need to do something with our little bleeding things in.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so basically Kingpin. This is Amanda Waller.
Toad or the fucking Blob as Amanda Waller. The Toad.
So I just wanted to show you guys that.
Wow, yeah. That's not a flattering version of Amanda Waller for sure. Is he that big generally?
I have no idea. So Amanda Waller offers time off villain sentences to do. I feel like I just thought one of you guys was going to have a sentence joke right there, but for doing dangerous missions for the government. We've already talked about it. The whole first squad was a ruse. They get wiped. Harley Quinn is there, but she survives and gets one of the guys' javelins. And that's going to be a plot point later. Javelin's javelin.
Yeah.
So we get the old 3 days earlier cut, and we've got Idris Elba as Bloodsport. He is
threatening the shit out of that toilet.
Yeah, he was scrubbing up, dub. So Bloodsport has a daughter who could go to prison for stealing a smartwatch. They have a whole funny argument.
Television.
They have a whole funny argument about why the fuck would you want to watch TV on your watch.
Yeah, and I honestly appreciated that because it was honestly kind of realistic.
It seemed genuine.
It wasn't just them screaming at each other and then storming off, or it wasn't just kind of a quirky back and forth between a dad and his daughter who are both kind of a little underhanded and whatever. There was a mix of both, and it definitely I feel made it, again, like you said, seem more genuine and real, because that could have been too much on either side, but they kind of balanced it right in the middle. And it was just, it's those little things that make the difference, I think, between this and the previous Suicide Squads for sure, is it's got charm, again, Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever.
Yeah.
There's some soul to it, as opposed to
my only issue was I don't think the character development was far enough along that it really made me care.
At that point, yeah. No, I don't think you're.
I mean, it got to that point, and I think they missed a lot on his character development, Idris Elba's character development with the entire movie.
Rats.
It didn't. Yeah,
he's totally friends with them though later, but
yeah, later on he's petting the rat, and I was like. Okay, that's okay. They could have went a little bit further. He's like, I don't give a fuck about nobody know how. I told you to stay away from me, and I'm like, that's super generic.
Yeah, that's actually.
I wanted a little bit more.
I in the first Suicide Squad, I thought the only good character developed was Will Smith, and
that's fair.
They could have just done the same.
Yeah, like the fact that she's just a thief. I'm like, maybe she's a degeneraate anyway and should be in jail. I don't know anything about this chick. I was like, she's like, I stole things. I was like, yeah, but maybe you're. I'm like, maybe you're just a bitch. I don't know. I don't know
you're
you.
Just a bitch.
I'm like, I don't know you, bro.
For daddy issues.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
So Amanda Waller threatens Bloodsport with sending his daughter to prison. So he is in, and we meet the rest of the team.
Cheeky.
I don't know if you noticed this, but Amanda Waller gives verbatim the same sentence describing Peacemaker and Bloodsport.
To John Cena?
He does, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, I thought I was an individual.
Yeah,
I was hearing it, and I was like, did I fuck up and rewind the movie by mistake?
So he
does word for word.
Bloodsport, which is Idris Elba, Peacemaker, John Cena. They call him Nanawe, but it's King Shark, voiced by Sylvester Stallone.
Is that true?
That's true.
Because I only hear him be
they do call him Nanawe.
Friends.
Yeah, so in the captions they call him King Shark, and King Shark is never edited or never uttered in the entire movie.
Yeah, they didn't say that, which I was actually surprised. I mean, again, I think the Nanawe
King Shark in the credits
better
too.
than King Shark. It's a little chunkier and choppier to say that over and over, because they said his name quite a bit. I feel like Nanawe just rolls off the tongue easier.
I don't know. He's like a Hawaiian shark king. That's why they call him King Shark.
We've got Nanawe's trying to blend in. He's reading a book upside down when we see him. We've got Polka Dot Man.
My favorite.
We have not talked about
awesome.
Polka Dot Man at all.
He's one of the best.
Polka Dot Man is entirely up my alley. He's just a guy who shoots polka dots that's super emo, and I'm like, yeah, bro. I'm like, dude, come over, we'll jam out some tunes, and you can just throw polka dots in my toilet, man.
So we get our James Gunn's brother cameo for the guy making fun of Polka Dot Man. He's he's also the right hand man of why can't I remember anyone's name today? The blue guy from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, Yondu.
That was good.
Oh.
You questioned it, but you were right.
Yeah.
Yondu.
That's a tough one. Yeah. I just pulled some letters out of my ass. No.
Yima. I'm like, yeah, it wasn't Yima.
Yondu's in the movie. He's the guy at the very beginning.
Yeah, he is.
Oh shit, you're right.
Who's bouncing the ball? Is it Michael?
And Sean Gunn's in it too.
Yeah, that's who we're talking about.
He's the guy in jail, and he's the Weasel.
Yeah, he does the mocap for the Weasel. Ratcatcher 2.
Yeah. Sequel.
That's another soft issue that I had was that I felt like they tried too hard to develop her story.
Yeah, I mean, she ends up being like the heart of the team, I guess, by the end, because
I wasn't. That's why it's.
I think it's because she's the most she's the youngest and most sort of naive of the group. So
yeah,
I think
I liked it. I was okay.
Like
I was okay with it. No,
yeah.
Absolutely. I was okay with it. Like I was happier.
The heart ring of the Planeteers.
I was you fucking douche. I was happy. I was
Captain Planet.
Captain Planet. Oh, everybody's a fucking tree. Tree. Yeah, I was okay with like the entire storyline regarding Ratcatcher 2 and all the shit that she went through, but
whose dad is Taika Waititi.
I laughed about it, and Steph said, "Why are you laughing?" And I said, "That's
about motherfuckers that are in everything."
I said, "That's Tikata Wakwa," and I was like, or some shit like that, like the guy that played that Hitler.
He says it right.
Yeah, like I literally said it like that. Like I was like,
"That's Hitler."
Like, why are you laughing? And I'm like, "Oh, that's Taquata." Like Tiki Wakwata or something, like the guy, like the guy. I didn't realize it was him when she's sending all the rats at Patrick Star, and she has that flashback, and she's like, "Why do you like rats, Papa?" And he's like sitting on the roof, like, "Rats are from the slums like us. It's me, Taquata Wikwi." I was like, "Oh fuck, it's Taquata Wikwi." And Steph was like, "Why are you giggling?" I'm like, "Taquata Wikwi."
The closest name that he's given to the
Fuck you, bro.
Of all of those, that was the closest.
So we've got our team. We flash forward 3 days again. I don't know why we went back 3 days to just go forward 3 days.
The jumps were a little like those cuts where like they just blow shit and like had like fires and like the odd thing where it was like and
it's like days earlier, and then in the shape of
it was a little bit rough, but again, I thought this movie was kind of like a clown film. So watching it with like the anticipation of it being like ridiculous and unnecessary, I was like, that's pretty good. But there were a couple times that I think that they cut a little bit too much, where it was like, and 3 days earlier.
The real team lands on the beach, and they're told by Amanda Waller they have to rescue Rick Flag. He's been taken by the insurgents. I forgot to write down the name of the island. What are we?
Honestly, when that scene happened, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I'm pretty sure these guys are like the good guys. Right, go ahead.
So
I was like,
I don't think the island name is super.
No, Peacemaker and Bloodsport have like a little one-upsmanship, killing everyone they run into, trying to be quiet, and they finally get to Rick Flag, who is just drinking tea, and we learn it's actually the resistance fighters that they just slaughtered instead of.
She's like, did you just kill all my friends?
Slaughtered pretty aggressively as well. Again, that was pretty quickly glossed over.
Big oof.
I think my favorite one was when he shot like the shelf to knock the toaster into the bathtub to kill the guy.
I mean, you're like, oh, he missed.
Yeah, so I'm watching it, right, and he shoots that dude in the head, and his penis flops, and I'm like, they're gonna show some more dicks now. Like, I'm like, now we're uninhibited. Anytime that a movie shows like an actual penis,
you open the floodgates.
I'm like, dude, the floodgates are open now. We're just gonna be dicks wild. So he shoots the shelf, and I'm like, that fan's gonna chop the dude's dick off, and we're gonna show it like they're gonna literally show the dude's dick getting cut off. I'm like, here it comes
by a fan,
and it electrocutes him, and I'm like, oh, thank God. I'm literally eating a chicken carcass with my hands. I do not need to see a dude's dick getting cut off.
I am eating a penis as we.
I'm like, I literally have just dick and balls in my hands, and I'm just man mouthing, eating, and I'm
gargling away.
I'm just gargling away on dick and balls, and I'm like, fuck, I do not want to see some dude get his dick and balls chopped off right now. Like, that's not what I'm...
So we learn about a space starfish that takes over people's brains and consciousness. Little I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's been in like pop culture like this. There's the brain slugs from Futurama. There's the Rick and Morty episode where they have the things on their face. Right. That's probably what it's closest to.
I mean, like,
they have to kill themselves within like
I mean, what's
seconds.
it's obvious. It's obviously an Alien homage, you know, like
hive mind.
That's the idea. Any sort of thing with that is.
I thought the fact that it was like a single consciousness was actually like made it more interesting.
That was interesting. That was very interesting.
As opposed to just being like, oh, it's just like taking over, it's like laying eggs on people or whatever.
Hands down, I shed a tear at the end where it was like I just wanted to look at the stars and float around in space, and I was like,
yeah, like I was fine just hanging out by myself.
One huge tear. I was like, fuck, this outer space starfish
shaped tear.
I'm like, this outer space starfish just wanted to fuck around and just float through outer space, like, oh fuck, the sun.
So Harley Quinn, what has she been up to?
I can't turn.
After the squad wipe in the beginning, Harley's captured by the government who's taken over the island, and the leader, Silvio Luna, wants to have a political marriage with Harley because the people see her as anti-American and a rebel. So they make love.
He's a big fan.
He's a big fan, as Silvio Luna reveals his plan of using the starfish as a weapon. And it doesn't matter if he's got to kill women or children, and then Harley shoots him.
Not even necessarily as a weapon, but just like as a threatening tactic.
Yeah.
And dude, that scene made this movie. That scene jumped this movie from a solid B+ to an A-.
So Harley shoots him.
I love twists, man.
Right through the chest.
No, it was. They set up this whole like thing about, oh, it's this guy, and Harley's just like, bang. It's not.
Actually, no.
She promised herself that next time she's with a guy and there's red flags, she'll do the reasonable thing and kill him.
I mean, like, she's legitimately like again, it's so tough, and that's why I will rate this as high as I do, because I do not like her character in general, but they do so much development with it, and they do so much work with it, where it makes it like I'm on the fence now, because that whole thing where she's like, oh, if I promise myself, if I ever met a man like this, I would look for red flags, and I'd do the reasonable thing and kill him. And I'm like, fuck, that's a pretty good development right there. I'm like, damn. I'm like, I do not like the entirety of this character, but they are doing a really great job.
Wes is like, she's got bad taste in men. She fucking knows it.
So
yeah, I was like, fuck, man, that's great. It's well done. I was impressed. Impressed.
They have to find the head scientist of Project Starfish, the thinker, the guy with all the shit sticking out of his head. They go and pick him up at a titty bar. I don't know if you guys noticed, one of the main dancers was the empath from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So they pick up the thinker at the Gentleman's Club, Peacemaker, Bloodsport, and Rick Flag get themselves captured, so that Ratcatcher 2 and Polka Dot Man can take the thinker. So eventually they break out. I skipped my lines here. Do you guys remember how they get out? Are they just in the truck? Yeah, they're just in the truck.
Yeah,
they trick the guards.
Yeah, so they get out almost immediately. They head over to the place Harley Quinn's being kept at. She ends up breaking herself out and runs into the gang as they're about to break in and get her out.
Like Wes was saying before, this is definitely one of the scenes that stood out to me as being one of the better scenes in the whole movie, probably, and not just because like it's her just fucking shit up, but I appreciated like little, sort of look into like her perception of things, of like, as she's slashing through, like she's kind of in her happy place where she's, murdering, and it's like flowers and like cute animals and other bullshit like that, like going around.
I had one issue where she has the guns and then she kills people and then she throws away the guns and she goes into the room with all the assault rifles. And then she beats everyone up, like, and nobody has an assault rifle in a room full of assault rifles. It's just cinematic effect. It's just me being nitpicky.
Well, no, and trust me, I mean, like I said, especially in that first scene, like there are little bits of like they could have edited it in a way or done something with like kind of her placement. Like they choreographed the fight, so they're going to be able to kind of put her in a position where you're not going to be like, okay, she's just surviving because of plot armor and like, you know, she's in a room full of guns. Like how is no one shooting at her as she's spinning like a javelin around, or, you know, why are these guys trying to, you know, hand to hand fight her? And not all of them were, and like stuff like that for sure. But there was like a little bit of that, but I didn't think it was too bad, but I agree, Marty, that it was definitely there. A little bit like suspending, you know, disbelief and stuff, but.
So now that they've got Harley, they can go ahead and head to where Starro the Conqueror is being kept. They get there and find out, oh, it was the U.S. government the whole time. They've been running experiments, or they hired the Thinker to run experiments on Starro. And Peacemaker was sent there with the mission of just destroying the evidence that the U.S. was involved. Bloodsport and Peacemaker have their standoff. Bloodsport shoots right at Peacemaker, and his smaller bullet goes through his bigger one. And
also, you didn't talk about Peacemaker fighting Rick Flag, like right when they go get the evidence, and Rick Flag is like, "Oh, we're gonna take it. Like we have to show, you know,
that was good, man.
What it is." And it's like, there was a little bit of them because he ends up. They're doing. There was a legitimate like hand-to-hand fight there, which was actually again better, like a little bit better done than I.
I'd like to just take a quick back pedal because I was totally here the whole time and did not pee and get more drinks. But when they attack Jotunheim and it's that whole like scene in the rain, I thought that was cool as shit. I was all about that.
For sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. There was some nice shots there, like as Idris was going out, it was like all white basically, you know, because of like there was some cool like exposure stuff. They definitely like, again, cinematography was good, not like spectacular, but like I said, it's the little things that push this movie like definitely a couple steps ahead of the other two. Like you feel like they genuinely took the time.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it was so much better.
It was a cool callback because obviously at the beginning we're like, all right, why is Bloodsport and Peacemaker both in it if they do the same thing? Well, it turns out there was a reason why Peacemaker was in it. So
Peacemaker is legitimately, he's like the fail safe. Just in case, like he's just like anything for peace. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Well, I feel Amanda Waller, like it's one of those things where she understands like the variables, and she, I mean, like references multiple times about how she's done analysis of like their personalities and like things like that. So she knows that Bloodsport or Rick Flag, like.
Bloodsport's the leader.
When given that information, might be like, oh, I'm gonna like, I might reveal it, or I might do something like unpredictable
leverage it,
where she knows. Peacemaker.
She legitimately puts
his morals because he's like, no matter what,
she's like
kill
John
men, women,
Cena's
children,
following the rules no matter
peace.
What. Like, John Cena's just like for peace. Yeah, classic John Cena. That was cool. All right, continue.
I just thought bullets.
That was even a line earlier as well. And then like even when they did the scene where Comrade Flag was fighting Peacemaker. Comrade Flag. When they showed the beginning of it just in his helmet, I was like, that's pretty cool too, man. Nice. The cinematography in those last couple scenes really. Like I was like, "Fuck, this is pretty cool." I'm like, "This is pretty well done for a movie that I had disregarded."
That was nice.
I went into it like, "This is gonna be shit," and they did the whole fucking scene in the rain, and I'm like, "That's pretty fucking dope." Like, there's a bunch of rain coming down. Captain Shark shows up, and the dude's like, "Oh," and he just like grabs him in the rail. I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool."
Shark
and
flag.
The explosion goes off.
Comrade
the
Shark.
explosion. Comrade Shark. The explosion goes off, and they're like fucking fighting each other, and it's just like all shown in that helmet. I was like, "Wow, that's pretty good cinematography." I was very impressed. That's what drove this from like an 87 to a 92 for me was those last couple scenes.
So Jotunheim explodes. We start the big boss fight with Starro. Let's talk about our favorite guy, Polka Dot Comrade.
Polka Dot Comrade.
Comrade Polka Dot. We didn't talk about, and I'll reference it quickly so we can move on, but him having to vomit up the polka dots, basically, or vomit up like his powers, because they reference him wearing a power dampening collar in the beginning that they have to take it off of him, which I'm like, oh shit, like he's clearly powerful as fuck because he's the only one, you know.
I agree. They show that scene and they're like, yeah, he's like, what's that? It's like power dampening.
He's locked up like friggin' Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, they take him out of it, and I'm like, yo, he's gonna bust out right now and just fuck everybody up. But no, it's so he doesn't have to throw up polka dots. I was like, what? And not even that. Like, this threw me off a little bit, and maybe it's just because I still don't like the character. But when those guards show up and he's like, polka dots, and Harley's like, no, and I'm like, oh, because he's gonna hit the bombs. I was like, does she really have the wherewithal to be like, his polka dots are gonna set them off?
Combat
and
knowledge.
They do. Yeah, I was like, she's never really. That's what brought it from a 95 to a 92. Is that I was like
that one line of no.
I was like,
no.
I was like, she's been like a psychopath most of the time, but now she's like, if you shoot polka dots near plastic explosive, it'll go off.
So Polka Dot Man, he's got that great line. Bloodsport was just like, oh shit, I thought you were the insane one. He's like, I am.
I was gonna reference that line. That one's
everyone he sees is his mother, because his mother forced tests on him so he could have superpowers.
Actually,
I also just piggybacking off of that. I know I just giggle at the piggybacking. I know we've done that a lot. I liked when Idris Elba was like playing into all their strengths in the final fight against,
like, it's your mom,
against Patrick Star. Yeah, and he's like, "That's your mom. Who is that?" That's like that scene. That scene for me brought it from an 89 to a 92.
I missed the 92 to 89, but
there was also a jump from 92 to 95 at one point that wasn't covered.
That's true.
The other way around, 95 to 92. So we're going back down. I'm explaining. Yeah.
Never mind.
Aaron, honestly, I think that me and you are super disconnected right now.
Yeah, you guys need to, I don't know, do some team building exercise at some point.
The issue is
I'm saying there was a jump from 92 to 95, then back down from 95 to 92. The first leg of that ladder was not covered, is what I'm getting at.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't remember what it was because I've been drinking.
Not important.
Important. I really like the scene where he like took that full leadership role and sent them all out, and then like half of them were gonna die. And I was like,
poor Polka Dot Man is like, I'm a superhero.
Yeah,
you knew.
Dude, that scene, the way it was shot. Do they shoot those scenes on purpose?
Back because and he's like,
you can see like where they are, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, he's here, and he's standing like at this point, like I'm a hero, and I'm like, he's gonna die. But like that whole scene where he plans he's like, Harley, take the high ground, and then she gets knocked into the abyss, and he's like, King Shark, that's nom noms, and he's like, nom noms, and then he gets thrown through the fucking building. I was like, okay, like he's trying to play like, I thought that was great that they try to make it seem like he's playing the leader, and everything goes like completely wrong because it's not really his role to play, and that definitely brought it up for me as a film in general, where they could have easily made it been like, and then they kill Patrick Star because Idris Elba is in charge. And I'm like, yeah, but he's like, you do this, you do this, you do this. I'm gonna make the play. I'm calling the play right now. I drop back in the pocket. We throw a touchdown pass, and he just kind of got picked off. And I was like, this is good. This is how it really go. This is how it really go. Like if you put this dude in charge, he's just some guy that murders people. He really is not intent on being in charge of this. I thought that was very well done.
I mean, that's a good summary of the final boss fight. All those things Wes said happened. They win.
That's true.
We get our post-credit scene with Weasel, who's still alive.
Hold on.
More importantly, a post-credit scene where Peacemaker's still alive. So we're not done with John Cena in the DECU. I don't know. It's Deku.
Right.
It's like
I think it's DCEU.
DCEU. That's it.
The Deku.
DCEU.
The DC Extended Universe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Well done. I'm very impressed.
So yeah, let's we go around. Yeah, let's give out of 1,000. What would you rate?
I'm gonna go.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
899 out of 1,000.
Wow.
Really? You don't round up to the 900?
Not going to give him the 900.
That's correct.
Can you tell us why? I think that the Cannonballs fans
I would say by the end when they're fighting Starro and it's like a 20-30 minute like scene, I didn't really care.
You know, I'm on the same page. You knew what was going to happen.
I don't necessarily disagree with that.
See, the only part of it for me that changes it is you have the human aspect back home where she's like, oh, you're going the wrong way. I'm going to fucking terminate you. And that chick, like, with the fucking
team, like,
cane or whatever, just knocks her out. And I was like, that's good enough for me. Yeah, I was like, I mean, like, hands down, you know, and in my head, I was like, she's going to realize that them stopping Patrick Starr is better off than them just being like, yeah, well, we deleted all the information about the U.S., so it's all good.
Our involvement, so problem solved.
Yeah, so who gives a fuck if they fuck up all these people? So, like, the human element of that's what brought it over that 89.9 plateau for me to a soft 92 A-, was that I thought she was going to be like, she had the finger on the button, then she just like, I can't do it, because they're going to come in. And nope, she was going to do it. That chick was like, I got my putter. I'm going to knock you out. And I was like, oh.
Well, they introduced that before, too, because she's like, oh, I'm playing golf with so-and-so, like, later, got to work on my short game.
Golfing
like, there's that
with the president.
Yeah, with the president or whatever.
No, I don't know what it was, but
I thought
Lex
that
Luthor.
was more well done.
Yeah.
What if? I thought that was more well done. Oh, you like that? I thought that was more well done than I expected it to be, based on what I've seen in the past from these kind of films, where it's like, oh, she had a change of heart and decided people's lives are valuable. I've been like, all right, whatever. But they kind of went a different way with everything that made it a little bit better than the stuff I'm used to in terms of any superhero film.
Cool. Aaron, Marty, out of 10,000.
10,000 now? 8,775.
Oh, the lowest.
I like it.
Yeah. No, I just,
translates you out of 100.
87.75, I think.
Yeah. All right. So I thought to make sure Marty could do math.
In my opinion, a 90 or higher is something like I will watch again, like almost immediately.
That's a good point.
I thought it was a very good movie. I thought
you're talking an A is fucking good. Like
DC went the right path. They should have done this. Like DC there's a horrible movie verse, and they were like, you know what? We're gonna bring in James Gunn, and we're gonna make this Guardians of the Galaxy-esque, and it was a fucking perfectly executed film for that goal. I mean, was it the best movie ever? No, but it was entertaining.
I'm just saying,
you want to watch Suicide Squad 3?
But Marty, in comparison though, like I'm not like, is this is this the best movie I've ever seen? My rating is based off of what I expected it to be.
Marty,
so maybe I'm
your
a little bit
objective
different.
rating of this movie because
to
of
match
how Wes
Wes's.
rates his movies.
Do the Wes.
I'm just curious.
Rate it based on how good
curious.
Wes thought it would be.
Oh, come on. You guys know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. I'm just curious.
It's funny how you're saying
off of, I know. I'm like, but Marty, I thought it'd be this, so you should rate it off of what I thought it would be. No, I know that's ridiculous, but I'm not saying rating it this high. I'm not like, oh fuck, I can't wait to watch this again. I'm just saying based off of my expectations.
Yeah, it's subverting your expectations. Gave it bonus points in your.
Yeah, maybe it did. Maybe it did. Yeah, maybe like I expected it to be like half chub.
I expected James Gunn to do a good job, so maybe that's where our difference is.
Yeah, I agree.
So Marty, in terms of that, I'm just curious. In terms of
on Wes's scale,
on a Wes scale, like expectation exceeds expectation. Fuck, this was really good. I did not think that this would be that good of a film. Where are we at?
Averagely went above my expectation because I did have relatively high expectations for James Gunn.
Okay, that's fair.
Elba is a fantastic actor. If we're talking about expectations for Suicide Squad 1, Suicide Squad 1 sucks. So if I'm basing my 2 expectations off of 1, it'd be relatively low. But with the change of the director, the better cast.
Absolutely.
And that was my own thing. Great movie though. Like I would watch it again. It's just like 90 for me is like Endgame and those Avengers movies, Captain America: Civil War.
Quick question, guys: is Idris Elba like the best actor to never be in a really good movie?
Question.
What's his best film?
I think
he was in The Wire, which is a TV show, and people like The Wire.
What's his best actual like film? Idris Elba.
All right, IMDb rating his best film.
Is he in Blood Diamond?
No, that's Jaimin.
I feel like he's in Blood Diamond.
I wouldn't get credit for
Jaimin Hansu's Blood Diamond.
The Dark Tower with McConaughey.
I heard that was like good, but I don't think that's like super highly rated.
Well, no, I'm just saying like a movie where he's the.
Did you guys see? Well, he's in Beasts of No Nation. Did you guys see Beasts of No Nation?
No. That's the one. The little girl
about
is
child
really
soldiers,
that, right?
That's the one with the child soldiers.
I'm just reading the description.
Well, all right, that's fair. He's not a big part of it, but the movie itself is like.
Good.
It's good.
Yeah,
It's a good film, but like, I don't think that he's like that. I wouldn't be like, oh, Idris Elba stars in that. I think it's more the children that play the soldiers and like do a very good job.
The little girl who's the main character in that.
All right, sorry, we're over 2 hours. Aaron, you're out of 100,000 scale.
All right, I would lean more towards the Brian and Marty. Like I think it's a solid B+. It's definitely a step above like the C and C- that are Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey, probably or worse. But I think like we talked about, I mean, the cinematography, I think the cast was good. I agree. Like, I don't expect, high level acting from a guy like John Cena, but like he's fitting in a solid role. Again, Margot Robbie is super solid. Like I said, I think she's like as close to a like really realistic kind of Harley Quinn as you're going to get pretty much. But yeah, I would sit right around a solid 88. I think definitely like I'm interested in a sequel, and this is I don't know if there's a better non-Christopher Nolan DC movie that they've put out yet. I don't know if I could think of one. Like I liked Shazam. Like I thought Shazam was pretty good. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that.
I have not yet.
Who doesn't love Shaq?
It's all right. Yeah, like it's good. Like that's like a B, But
you're thinking Kazam.
DC, yeah, that's Shaq. You're thinking of Shaq Fu.
Oh, that comes out right later this year, right?
Yeah.
Shaq Fu and the 10 Rings.
You should have saved that for the outro, Wes. Yeah, I was definitely a fan, but I agree. Like they probably could have shortened the final boss fight by like 15 minutes and the movie wouldn't have suffered almost at all. Like almost all of the legitimate like character development and plot points and all that stuff had been resolved with 25 minutes left of the movie.
Yeah.
So they definitely could have cut a bit of that. But I mean, if that's my biggest nitpick is, you know, the first hour and 45 minutes of the movie are solid and well paced, and that the last bit that like lulls a little, I think that's pretty damn good considering. Like this movie is going to be way better than the Venom movie that's coming out later this year.
Yeah, well,
fucking Let There Be Carnage or whatever. Like, I don't think there's, you know, so good for DC for sure. Like hold on to James Gunn, at least for the time being.
Yeah. All right, Aaron, do you want to do your quote corner? We don't have to.
I think Marty had a pretty good
Aaron's quote corner. Marty's quote corner.
Which one? The
Aaron's quote corner, hosted by Marty.
Have one out, but I could.
Oh, I thought there was.
I'm just on the IMDb quotes.
Oh, you want me to pull?
Yeah, I know
okay.
that.
No, sorry. I could have pulled it. Marty put one earlier that I'm trying to remember what it was.
I know.
I have nothing.
I'll go first. Why rats, Papa? Rats are the lowliest and most despised of all creatures, my love. But if they have purpose, so do we all. I cannot speak tonight. Purpose.
Porpoise.
What's purpose?
If they have a porpoise.
If they have parfait.
Parfaits are delicious.
What if they got parfait? Parfait is delicious.
Here's one by King Shark. Nom nom, in brackets, eats someone. 137 out of 140 found this interesting.
Interesting.
So like, there's three people that were like, there's three people that looked at it and were like, nope. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you know what you're looking for, right? You're looking for a guy that literally speaks as a shark for his quotes. You're like, that wasn't interesting to me. He says like 5 lines.
Oh, I actually like this one.
Maltese, by the way.
So it's Rick Flag. All right, who ate all that fucking empanadas? Bloodsport. I had the chicken. Mine were very good. Rick Flag.
I heard
all right,
that.
Here's the deal. We fail the mission, you die. Bloodsport. You find out any information, or we find out any information you give us is false, you die. Harley Quinn. If we find out you have personalized license plates, you die. If you mismatch blacks, you die. If you cough without covering your mouth,
you die. And don't let me and don't think this is an excuse to cough without you covering your mouth.
Yeah, after he stops her, he's like, yeah. That was good.
Yeah, he's like, those last 3 weren't real, but don't take this as an excuse to cough without covering your mouth.
I think the writing, like there were more than a couple jokes that actually hit. Well, like there are definitely movies that try to do the superhero, and we talk about like Star Wars and whatever, kind of jumping in and stealing that, like, hey, our movies are dramas, but they're also funny because we're going to throw a couple like zingers in there. And 90% of movies they don't hit, I feel like, when they try to emulate that sort of weird kind of, again, the quirky like Marvel style of dropping jokes in. But I felt like this one was one of the 10% that actually succeeded.
Yeah, it's weird. Like the comedy genre's starting to disappear just because they're sneaking all these action movies into being comedies now.
Just being like half comedies. Yeah.
Yeah, sneaking.